If you are wondering what is about to happen in the crypto markets with Bitcoin, is the Bitcoin bull run about to start, or are we still in the middle of a bear market? If you want to have that information, then you've got to watch this video. Let's get it. I'm not a financial advisor. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, the BitBoy. Okay, so today we're going to be discussing the crypto markets. Happy Labor Day. Because of this, we're not having the regular show today, but I did want to make this video because I think it's very, very important that you guys understand, I think, the action or the scenario that could happen. I can't obviously say for 100% that this will happen, but of course, that is only my personal opinion. So you can do with that what you may. But the fact is that in this market right now, I talked to my guy CryptoFace, he set me straight, and it lines up a lot with what I think is going to happen, but with maybe a couple new wrinkles. So this is what we are now looking at, a scenario that I believe is very, very, very real and significant, and most likely will happen. Today, which is Labor Day, and tomorrow, maybe even Wednesday, I think we're gonna see some bullish action. We're all gonna be thinking, this is good, we're going upwards, it's going to go into the next, the rate cuts, it's going to just go ballistic through that, and then we may dump after that, but you know what, it's time to moon. And you know what, I was kind of that thinking. I thought that made a lot of sense. But I talked to CryptoFace, and he's going to be on the show, I think, tomorrow to discuss this. But he actually saw something in the charts, saw something, because that's what his specialty is, right? And of course, if you guys want to follow CryptoFace, we've got all his information down below. And also, we've got a link if you want to check out Market Cipher, which is his indicator. What he noticed here on the charts is that on the weekly, on regular candles for Bitcoin, if you look at the pattern, the history of engulfing candles, an engulfing candle is when you have a candle that completely engulfs the previous candle. So let's say Bitcoin pumps up a little bit, you got a green candle here, then if the next candle's red, but it has that entire move inside of it, and it's a little bit bigger, then that would be considered an engulfing candle. And of course, it works in the opposite way as well. Anytime you have opposite colored candles, if one of them, the one on the right, is larger than the one on the left, then that would be considered an engulfing candle. And what he noticed on the weekly with these on Bitcoin is that every time we have had an engulfing candle, the next candle on the weekly has been about the same size, about the same direction. And what he's proposing here is Bitcoin is most likely, because of this kind of predictable thing that we've seen in the recent past with Bitcoin, and kind of understanding just the overall thinking about September's have been pretty bearish. I usually do not go with the pattern and say, oh, it's probably going to be another one because all these previous ones have been this, because there's so much that goes into that. It's not just the month. It depends on where we are in the cycle, if we're bearish, if we're bullish. There's so many things that go into that. And we don't have enough history like they do in the stock market to really be able to kind of predict these things, I think. There's just too many outliers. And usually that is my way of thinking, and I don't ever take those things into consideration. However, there is a narrative that is rising, that is true. It's a true narrative, but this is the thing about facts, is things can be true, but they don't necessarily become a narrative. And in this case, the facts have become, I think, are starting to build a little bit bigger of a narrative, which is, number one, that whenever we have Fed cuts, or whenever there's rate cuts, not whenever there's rate cuts, whenever there is a reversal in a beginning of rate cuts, again, a pivot, whenever the Fed completely pivots on rate cuts, that's what they call it actually. What happens is the market actually, it's usually the top of the equities market, and it goes down, which is really, really interesting, because during this moment, you wouldn't feel like that could possibly be true, that people getting access to more free money at a cheaper price could be bearish for the markets. And it's very interesting to think about that. But because a lot of people are discussing this, I think there's a really good solid chance that this is going to get a little bit louder as we move into actually the Fed cut. And then when you take into consideration, you know, I think most likely we're getting a 0.25 rate cut. I don't believe that we're actually going to get the 50 bips like some people are predicting or hoping for. I don't even know what the current odds are. It was 33% the last time I checked, but that was a couple weeks ago. Maybe it's a dead thing. Maybe everybody thinks it's going to happen. But because there has been a narrative that people know that potentially a 50 bip rate cut, you see, and this is how they control things. Now a 25 bip rate cut, along with just a little bearish news from the Fed along with the cut, and now all of a sudden something that was supposed to be extremely positive for the markets, it's negative. And it's like, what? How did this happen? We thought this was gonna be big exciting news. Well, it's already baked in. Everybody already knows. Everybody knows we're getting a cut. So what matters is the size of the cut, and if it's the minimum, okay, we're looking at some bearish stuff. In reality, I think there is something to that. But when you look at the history of pivots, okay, when you factor in, you know, what we just discussed, I think that it doesn't really matter if we have an overall downswing or not. I don't think we're going to with Bitcoin. I think we have bottomed. So there's a little bit of this history here that I think we are going to move away from, which is kind of that in the past, pivots from the Fed have been overall bearish for the markets and meant tops of things. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think that narrative of that happening and people concerned about that is going to be something in the midterm is going to make things go down. And of course, that's broadcast a little bit further down the line when we're talking about the narratives. But when we go back to just looking at the candles and what CryptoFace was talking about, what that seems to indicate with the price of Bitcoin is that, and he agrees with me, at least for now, that Bitcoin has bottomed for this lull, right, at 48.6 or whatever. And I won't put words in his mouth. I'll let him say it tomorrow. I think he generally kind of, he it's not that he agrees with that, but he is not like, oh, we're definitely going lower for sure. That's a better way for me to say that without having to put some words in his mouth. He is of the opinion that anything can happen kind of in the future. We don't really know right now. He's not focused on that. He's focused on the next few weeks, looking at the current action and the current candles of Bitcoin. It seems to be that what we're most likely going to see here, I think, Bitcoin is going to go down to 49XXX. I think probably 49,800, 49,900. It doesn't matter. It just needs to pierce through 50,000 again, without just absolutely monumentally wicking and causing people to say, oh, well, it was just a wick. No, it needs to go down and really feel that level and touch that level. And of course, we were calling the entire time for Bitcoin to go somewhere between 47, 48, 48, somewhere between 47 and 50,000. We used 48.5 very specifically several times, and where did it hit? 48.6. And we talked about this for long time. We talked about this for months in advance, not just a couple days in advance. It potentially is going to go down and feel that level, not touch it. Like get down there where people say, oh, could this go down further? Oh, I thought there was a bull run. Oh no, my gains are not only are my gains from the first part of this year gone, now I'm in the negative and I'm putting more money in. Oh God, it wants you to kind of feel that a little bit, I think, before when we really have this run. Like we have to have the security. We have to have the weak hands out. Those that are the last people that are like, ooh, it just doesn't feel right anymore. Or you're listening to some kind of advice and someone tells you something specific and maybe that one thing plays out and you say, oh, I got to get out of the market. The market needs those people to do that. And I think with the action that we had previously where we just wicked down to that 48,000. Guys, you can look back at my history with the $47,000 level specifically with Bitcoin. I deleted a tweet a long time ago because I just got so much grief over it on the old account. I didn't think we'd ever see Bitcoin below 47,000 again in 2021. I didn't think we would, because I thought we were going to $100,000 very easily. And, if we went to 120, where I was kind of estimating, like, okay, I mean, you go down 60% and you are still above that level. And there was so much support at one time at this level, and Bitcoin just plunged right through it. But I think it is a very key, very important level for Bitcoin, the 47, 48, between $47,000 and $50,000 level. Historically, if you just look back at it with our experience flirting around with it, it's a very, very, very important level. Most of the time, a lot of times with this level, it's been a lot of wicks. It's been a lot of wicks on the daily or the weekly, right? And now, finally, as we get ready to go into this next bull run where things are, there's some geese that are, I don't know if you guys can see this actually. There are some geese out here, and it's caused quite the kerfuffle. I don't even know if that's a word, but you can see here, that's what we're doing, is waiting for these geese. This guy, man, golly, he flipped that. Did y'all see that? He flipped that lady off. He didn't flip that lady off, actually. I shouldn't say things like that. Well, when I said that, it was a joke, because obviously he was giving a thumbs up. But I just talked about yesterday on a video how it's so important you don't say stuff like that that's not true, or put stuff out in the environment. It's a joke or something. It's not. You shouldn't do that. So he's giving a thumbs up. There was no. At first, I thought there was a little disagreement because there was a horn honk, but in reality, it was just some people that were like really nice about it and waiting for the geese and having a good time. And so, good on that guy. I was giving him a thumbs up when he went by. Nice old guy. So, anyways, the point is back to Bitcoin and what we're seeing, and what I believe that we're going to see is we're going to get down to that $50,000 level, and we're going to finally build that support instead of just having these wicks. And we're going to, as we move into this next generation, this next bull run, where we're going to hit new all-time highs, and people are going to be excited, and retail is going to be here, and it's just going to be a big thing, and we're all going to be so excited about it. It's coming up very, very, very soon. It's building right now. Like right now. If you've been in this space a long time, you know that it's building. And it's just a matter of, are we going to see this thing pop real quick? And we're going to start, well, not pop real quick, commence very quickly. And we're going to start moving up in October, I believe. Or are we going to see this build a little bit more, give a little more depression, and go down further even than $48,000, down to $42,000, like my friend Sam, Crypto Lifer, suggested to me this morning. Another guy you should check out. But the point is that some of that stuff is possible, but I don't think that's what we're going to see. I think most likely we're going to see the same old Bitcoin bull run, the same old things happen. And I think that if you look at the 2020 bull run, when that thing kind of kicked off, October is when that would align for this year in this 4-year cycle. The fact is, I think that what we're going to see is we're going to see the price go down, touch this level, build up here. I think it's going to start this week. If not, this is the week. I believe this is the week. We're going to see it go down and touch that $49,000 level. And it's going to show some strength when it comes back in, but people are still going to be a little bearish. But that's what happens when people are still a little bearish. That's when Bitcoin starts running. And I'm not saying it's going to run massively quickly or anything. What I'm saying is the Pi cycle top indicator that I just did not give any credit to in 2021. I just laughed at, like, we're ripping to 100K, blah, 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 blah. When that Pi cycle top indicator crossed and it showed people it was the top of the market around $65,000, I was like, bet your bottom dollar that thing was right, for sure. That thing was right. We did have one little bitty rise maybe after that, but there was no stability. There was no continuation. Why? Because it had really already topped out. And regardless of some of my personal theories on why it happened, it happened. Now, on the bottom side, the Pi cycle top indicator is telling us that for this bull run right now, or the build up to, we have already bottomed. It crossed. We have bottomed. We can confirm most likely. We can't confirm anything for 100%, but we can confirm that most likely, according to this, that it has bottomed. And my point is, it could be very similar to what we saw in 2021 at the top, right? Where it was right. That was basically the top of the market, but we had one more rise up. We could see this now, where I'm saying it has crossed and showing that we have bottom. We're building support, but we could have one more time, potentially this week, where it goes down right into that zone, and it touches it, and it comes right back out of it. Kind of, more on a much quicker schedule than what we would have seen in 2021 on the top side, but kind of the same concept. So that is generally what I think that we are going to see for Bitcoin. I think we are this week going to see it go down, touch that level. People are going to be scared. They're going to say it's going to go down much, much lower. And I think it's going to really build and come off of that very strongly. Not necessarily in some kind of gigantic candle or anything. That's not what we want. That's not a sign of real growth, in my opinion. We want it to bottom and check out all other retail investors and really start building slowly. And of course, we'll have times where it's exciting, but guys, these bull runs are not exciting from start to finish. Like you guys may remember, your brain will lie to you, just like when you're an addict or you're addicted to something. It will lie to you and tell you that only remember the good times. Only remember the good times with that stuff. And the fact is, there were not a lot outside of the end of December 2020 through like mid-January, okay, of 2021. That was one really exciting run where it was mostly up. And then, of course, once the Super Bowl hit and we got the news from Elon Musk that Tesla was going to be accepting Bitcoin, and that's really what started sending that thing up. And then we went up to 56, and I think maybe we hit some resistance then, if I remember correctly. But the point is, we blew right through 50,000, and those were some really exciting times, guys. That was February through March and April, man, of 2021. Those were some exciting times. But even within that, there were I had some losses when I was going long in the market, so it's not one continuous thing. And you need it to build and do what it's done before. And that's what it's doing, and it's telling us right now it's building up for, I believe. But hold on this week. Don't panic if this scenario does play out. Don't panic. Just relax. And you guys have the inside information, the understanding, and thanks to my guy CryptoFace for pointing this out, of what we could potentially see here. And you guys will be able to be comforted through this time, as your friends might just be selling and, let's get out, blah, blah, it's over. You guys know how they do. We're going to build that support and go back up. So let me know what you guys think about the scenario. Drop your comments down below. We'll be back to the live show tomorrow. And that's all I got. Be blessed. Be well.